show and get whatever you want. Because you can be in a gun show, 2/3 of the gun show can have licensed dealers, federal licensed dealers that have to have background checks if you buy it from them. Go to the next table over, there was not one, that's a loophole. Interstate and intrastate, if you're selling outside the state on the internet, you have to have a background check. If you sell in-state, one part of New York versus the other, it doesn't have to. This closes all those loopholes. This is a piece of legislation.
But we have to do something about the mentally ill not being able to buy a gun. I mean, they have so many checks and balances that you can be mentally ill and it takes you 6 months before you can prohibit it. So we have to do something very decisive. Number one, you can take the guns away immediately from people that you can judge easily are mentally ill, like this guy. You know, the police saw that he was a problem. They didn't take any guns away. Now, that could have been policing. I think they should have taken them away anyway, whether they had the right or not. But I'll tell you this, you have to have very strong provisions for the mentally ill. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, I shouldn't be saying that. I'll tell you what, I don't want mentally ill people to be having guns. Marco?
Mr. President, thanks for bringing...
Well, there you go. Whether they had the right to or not. And I think that's an interesting person right there to start with, Mr. Cornyn. And this person here. You know, just a snapshot there. Would you think this was a Republican conservative president? Sitting there this way? You know, this particular channel had an issue with me a long time ago. And I really didn't have an issue with her. She's a Marine. She's incredibly intelligent. She's well-spoken. And YouTube hammered her channel very, very hard. For what she did, she was treated incredibly unfairly. Her issue with my channel was one about the Electoral College. And I believed that there was going to be enough Republicans, conservatives, stand up on principle, on moral principle, to out that man as the charlatan he was. And she was talking about this a long time ago, about when Obama tried to do it. This gun control thing with the Social Security Administration. And then it got stopped. And the person who was complaining about it was this guy. And it's funny now that, you know, at one time, before she jumped on the Trump train, she was incredibly suspicious of the current Twitter. And did not like him, but she got so much pushback and so much heat. And I can relate. Because when I came out against the guy, boy, I tell you what, hundreds of people, day and night, calling me all sorts of filthy names and dirty names and threatening my family and threatening me for having the temerity to basically say the truth about what the man is and what he's doing. It's a terrible thing. I mean, I did 3 or 4 videos talking about this. And here's one where I'm talking about the tariffs. Let's see if I can back this up enough here to show you.
And when the president promises it, that means single-payer healthcare, health savings accounts don't do that. They don't give insurance for everybody. So this is number 1 on his let's make friends with the Democrats agenda. Number 2, the GOP is going to hate him on this. His problem with the tariffs, his issue with this is going to be, and the GOP has already signaled they're not going to support him on this because they believe in free trade and that crosses borders, and that's why they were, you know, if you remember back to 92, Ross Perot in his debate with Bush and Clinton, who were both for NAFTA at the time, he said it was the biggest quote in the world. You're going to hear a giant sucking sound of jobs out of this country. And it's, you know, this is going to be a fight he is going to be at war with the GOP his entire time with over these tariff regulations that he wants to put into place. Now, here we go.
And we saw what happened.
Most people are going to say, what the heck's going on? This is March 2016 in a speech to AIPAC. Okay, now, I could do an entire video on Israel, but here's a quote from the speech, an excerpt. When people ask why, it's because that's not how you make a deal. Deals are made when parties come together. He's speaking of Israel and Palestine here. They come to a table and they negotiate. Each side must give up something. Each side must give up something.
Okay, I'll stop it there. Basically, what's happening now is the mask has come off. The mask has come off. He's thrown the alt-right under the bus. He doesn't care about the people that voted for him. He's stabbing you in the back just like he has stabbed everyone else in the back. Just like he has stabbed everyone else in the back. And this is my channel, and you can see, if you want to talk about someone being censored, I did a video here talking about how many similarities he had. Look at the view counts. Here's another one. And here's another one. All on my channel, talking about how this man was going to flip, and he was going to show his true colors eventually. It wasn't an accident that the man spent almost 10 years in the Democratic Party. You know, these are from a long time ago, and I'm sure most of you haven't seen them. It shows the root of the term the Maquis when the channel changed its name, and what was going to happen and why it happened. I even did one on Benghazi. But go back and look at these and see how wrong you think I am now. To those of you who've been with me for a long time, I appreciate you sitting through this video. But I didn't want this to be something where I waggled my finger and was ha ha ha, see, I told you so. What I need is my conservative brethren to wake up. I need them to understand what's happened and to shake themselves out of this. And to understand that we have a huge problem. We now have an issue. If he gets this thing where he wants to raise this purchase age to 21, we're going to have young ladies that we're going to be sending off to college that maybe you want to send a weapon with, that you're not going to be able to. Young men that are going to be able to sign up for the military and be able to go die for their country, but not be able to buy a weapon to protect themselves. They'll be able to vote, but not own a gun. It's scary. It's very scary to see that he absolutely has no problem with completely taking away someone's right to a gun. The Second Amendment means nothing to this guy. No amendment means anything to this guy. And like I said before, the right to keep and bear arms is one thing, the right to profit from the sale of them is another. And you see now who's going after the NRA. All of the big advertisers and all of the people that used to work with them are all bailing. And you're going to find out exactly how much the NRA isn't your friend. Because the NRA doesn't protect your right to have a gun because they morally believe it's the right thing. The NRA does it because there's money in it. And when there stops being money in it, they'll relent. You mark my words. Look what Dick's Sporting Goods just did. Look what Walmart's doing. Look at the direction that guy has taken us. Middle class, tax relief. That's a liberal democratic thing. Tariffs, liberal democratic thing. Gun control, liberal democratic thing. Please, my Republican brothers that have been on, my conservative brothers, I should say, on this false, fake Trump train thing, you need to jump off it. You need to get away from this guy and understand you got took. It happens to the best of us. But it's only going to be a mistake as long as you keep doing it. As long as you keep believing it. And when the evidence is put before you and you deny it, that's when it's going to get you. Just because I've made mistakes, and I've made videos admitting my mistakes. I made the mistake with the Electoral College. I really thought that there was courage and moral fortitude inside the Republican Party to stand up and say, no, I'm sorry, but we're not a rubber stamp for the popular vote. And this guy's lying, and he's a charlatan, and he's a fraud. And I was wrong about that. I made the mistake with the nautical miles versus regular miles, and I did a whole video apologizing for that as well. And the issue with the Fitzgerald, you got to be able to admit a mistake. But I would very much recommend watching Are You Ready For It? RURDY4IT. Smart girl. She didn't like me very much, but she was a smart one. In fact, she was the reason I started doing videos. Because I had sent her inbox trying to talk about the Electoral College, hoping she would cover it, and never got back to me, so that's why I did my first video. But anyway, I will leave it there for you guys. I'm sorry it's been kind of a whispery video. It's just something I gotta do right before bed, and anyway, personal problems. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.